I've got two for you guys. The first one is a LinkedIn thought leadership type workflow, right? So we help a lot of like founders produce content for their LinkedIn. This thing, as I understand it, can take up a bunch of different raw inputs. A transcript would be a common input. We do interviews, we fold those in here. And the first step is to extract ideas from that interview. Okay. Then we will rank those ideas based on some criteria to figure out which ones we think will perform best for this company based on their goals. A human then looks at the list of ideas ranked by the LLM and will choose those. That then produces basically some formats, so like archetypes of posts that we will end up writing. It creates a brief, and it also includes the raw source, so like the quotes or that chunk of interview in this case, alongside of the brief template, so that the writer can like refer back to it, get the quote exactly right, use that source material when they're actually then editing. This spits out a brief, and then there's the manual way of writing it, but we also are working on a draft example here, which is against what I'm saying, but I do think like we're going to keep pushing and try to do more and more of the process with AI. And I think LinkedIn shorter form, I think we can get away with it and still meet our quality standards. So
Love
that's our
that.
LinkedIn workflow. And this here is an SEO or GEO workflow for going from a keyword to a brief. And this one works, of course, by first trying to understand the intent of a keyword. Then it's actually going to look at the brand's POV and narrative and try and figure out, okay, here's the search intent. Here's this kind of the articles that are ranking now. What's the gap based on our POV that we can include in order to have that element of thought leadership to contribute to the conversation, information gain, et cetera, that we can loop into this. And that is what we then turn into, like that becomes the strategy of the piece in the next step. This then becomes a research brief that we then run through deep research that then does a couple things and starts to produce a brief, basically, as far as I understand it. I can show a quick example of the output of this too, if folks find that helpful. It's like more than a brief. There's like a bunch of source material from that research step and whatnot that a writer can then pull into a brief, really. So this is almost like a pre-brief, as I understand it. And then elements that can also be pulled into an outline, such as, so like here are the stats that they can pull in, right? Such as like an FAQ section that might make sense for them to consider pulling through. So it helps inform then a person to then like really shape it into a brief in our specific template that will then go on to the content producers that are going to write the piece.